Truthful facts people should know, but most do not. 1. The IRS is not a U.S. government agency. It is an agency of the IMF, International Monetary Fund. The IMF, International Monetary Fund, is an agency of the UN. Black's Law, Dictionary 6th edition, page 816. The United States has not had a treasury since 1921. The U.S. Treasury is now the IMF, International Monetary Fund. The United States does not have any employees because there is no longer a United States. No more reorganization. After over 200 years of bankruptcy, it is finally over. Executive Order 12803. The FCC, CIA, FBI, NASA and all of the other alphabet gangs were never part of the U.S. government, even though the U.S. government held stock in the agencies. Social Security numbers are issued by the UN through the IMF, International Monetary Fund. The application for a Social Security number is the SS5 form. The Department of the Treasury, IMF, issues the SS5 forms and not the Social Security Administration. The new SS5 forms do not state who publishes them, while the old form states they are. Department of the Treasury. There are no judicial courts in America and have not been since 1789. Judges do not enforce statutes and codes. Executive administrators enforce statutes and codes. There have not been any judges in America since 1789. There have just been administrators. According to GATT, the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, you must have a Social Security number. New York City is defined in federal regulations as the United Nations. Rudolph Giuliani stated on C-SPAN that New York City is the capital of the world. For once, he told the truth. Social Security is not insurance or a contract, nor is there a trust fund. Your Social Security check comes directly from the IMF, International Monetary Fund, which is an agency of the United Nations. It says, U.S. Department of Treasury, at the top left corner, which again is part of the UN as pointed out above. You own no property. Slaves can't own property. Read carefully the deed to the property you think is yours. You are listed as a tenant. The most powerful court in America is not the United States Supreme Court, but rather the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. The King of England financially backed both sides of the American Revolutionary War. You cannot use the U.S. Constitution to defend yourself because you are not a party to it. The U.S. Constitution applies to the Corporation of the United States, a privately owned and operated corporation, headquartered out of Washington, D.C., much like international business machines, and not to the people of the Sovereign Republic of the United States of America. America is a British colony. The United States is a corporation, not a landmass, and it existed before the Revolutionary War, and the British troops did not leave until 1796. The Vatican owns Britain. Treaty of 1213. The Pope can abolish any law in the United States. Elements of Ecclesiastical Law, Volume 1, 53-54. A 1040 form is for tribute aid to Britain. IRS Publication 6209. The Pope claims to own the entire planet through the laws of conquest and discovery. Papal Bulls of 1495 and 1493. The Pope has ordered the genocide and enslavement of millions of people. Papal Bulls of 1455 and 1493. The Pope's laws are obligatory on everyone. We are slaves and own absolutely nothing, not even what we think are our children. Military, George Washington divided up the states, estates, into districts. Messages and Papers of the Presidents, Volume 1, page 99, 1828, Dictionary of Estate. The people does not include you and me. It is not the duty of the police to protect you. Their job is to protect the corporation and arrest code breakers. Everything in the United States is up for sale: bridges, roads, water, schools, hospitals, prisons, airports, etc., etc. Did anybody take time to check who bought Klamath Lake? Executive Order 12803. We are treated as human capital. Executive Order 13037. The world cabal makes money off of the use of your signatures on mortgages, car loans, credit cards, your social security number, etc. The UN United Nations has financed the operations of the United States government, the Corporation of the United States of America, for over 140 years. U.S. Department of Treasury is part of the UN. See above, and now owns every man, woman, and child in America. The UN claims to hold all of the land of America in fee simple. The good news is we don't have to fulfill our fictitious obligations. You can discharge a fictitious obligation with another's fictitious obligation. Whoever discloses, uses, or compels the disclosure of the Social Security number in violation of the laws of the United States shall be guilty of a felony, and upon conviction thereof shall be fined under Title 18 or imprisoned for not more than 5 years, or both. Disclosure of Social Security number. It shall be unlawful for any federal, state, or local government agency to deny to any individual any right, benefit, or privilege provided by law because of such individual's refusal to disclose his Social Security account number.